video, I'll be talking about my top 5 favorite books in 2021. So the first one was Dune by Frank Herbert. This book was a very interesting book in the sense that this universe, from all the economics, the technology they use, and to the entire society in the future, all computers are banned, and now they just rely on a substance called spice, and that causes them to give them psychic powers, to expand their life, and not to mention it makes interstellar travel possible through a guild, which has a monopoly in space. And they're fighting constantly over who controls the spice and who gets to rule all from power. It's a very interesting book. This is just the first book. There's more books in this series. The second one, third, fourth, and fifth, and they take place in different times. But in general, this is pretty much the best science fiction book, personally for me, in all of history. The author is like one of the best authors for science fiction, and not to mention they made a movie on this. If you've already seen it, it's very, very good. Of course, with these kind of books, especially for this one, it's very confusing at times. Like, it goes back and forth, and not to mention the words they refer to in this book, like the gum jabar. That's a bit confusing. You'll get to know that throughout the book, but this is the first book I do recommend in this series. So the second book on this list is Extraterrestrial, the first sign of intelligent life. So this book is basically about an object called Oumuamua. So back in 2017, this object was detected coming near the Earth, and then afterwards it sped up. Of course, we weren't sure exactly what it was. Back then people were thinking it was an asteroid or comet, but it wasn't any of those characteristics. So this author theorizes it was a defunct alien technology or spacecraft, and of course we're not too sure what it was. It theorizes exactly the Fermi paradox, where aliens become so advanced that they of course will destroy themselves, and then whatever there's the technology remaining that's left, that could have been that. We're not too sure, but if you want something that's mysterious and like if you like space, this is a book that's recommended for you. So the third book in this list is The Psychology of Money. So this book talks about the way we treat money, the way we spend money. We're not really thinking too much rationally about it. We're just using our emotions to make us feel good. Not to mention, we like to show off how rich we are, when in fact nobody really cares. And in fact, people just start hating on you. They don't like your success. Not to mention, you try buying new stuff to keep up with others, which is why it explains why most people who earn lots of money, they don't really have that much in their savings. Not to mention, we keep wanting more. And for investing, when we think about it, we're like, you know what? I want the highest return possible. When in fact, that doesn't really matter. It's just about how long you are investing, and from that, the longer you are investing, the more compound interest plays a role. It's not really about how much you make each year. Not to mention, as soon as you talk about money in front of your family or friends, it becomes sensitive. When in fact it should be, talked about more, because money is very interesting. Not to mention, it's like very once you get to know money, you should be rational about it. You shouldn't just use your emotions on it, which is the most dangerous thing about doing that in the real world. So the fourth book on this list is called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster from Bill Gates. This book basically talks about how the world emits about 51 billion tons of carbon dioxide each year, and it explains exactly the technologies we'll need to bring it to net zero in the coming decades. Like high pumped hydro, there's solar energy, nuclear, wind, and etc. And we have to figure out a way to, deliver these to each country, but in a very cheap way, so the world can adopt it. Especially for third world countries where they don't have any power, and we have to figure out a way for them to have the same power as the first world countries, but without emitting any more carbon dioxide. And not to mention, we have to figure out a way to reduce carbon dioxide production in the cement industry and also agriculture. We're going to have to figure out a way to eat less meat, or figure out a way to produce meat in a more efficient manner so less methane and carbon dioxide is emitted into the atmosphere. It also depends on politicians, the society, of course, like promote, like like funding this. It's not going to just be done by scientists. So we have to actually do something about this. Each of us will have to figure out a way to reduce our own carbon footprint, reduce, reuse, and recycle from school. So this book is actually very interesting. I do recommend giving this a read. It will just open your mind on exactly what we need to do starting today. So the fifth book in this list is Atomic Habits by James Clear. So in this book he talks about how you can create new habits and break bad ones to improve your life, and not to mention the compounding effect of making new habits. So if you improve by 1% each day, by the end of the year, you're 37 times better. So small changes lead to greater results over time. And not to mention, you want to create habits in an environment that you remember, so that if you're in a specific environment, you'll remember what you need to do to improve your habits. And you should focus on a system rather than focus on a goal. So with a system, it's basically do the following steps and you remember how to do it. So it's actually much more easier, and you're less likely to procrastinate than just making a simple goal and then forgetting about it. And not to mention the four laws of behavior, which is explained in this book, so make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. And pretty much, if you want to improve your habits, you want to figure out why people like procrastinate, the entire psychology of like habits. This book is very good, and I would recommend reading this. The final book in this list is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So this book is mainly about money. So the first rule is like pay yourself first. So that basically means when you get your check, like you have to pay taxes, you have to pay your mortgage, your food expenses, living expenses, etc. So rather you should pay yourself first. That means you should save half of your income. The rest you can pay your expenses, credit card expenses, etc. But figure out a way to make that extra money. So you have to find out a way to pay that off. Not to mention escaping the rat race. That means basically in this world, you're trying to buy the latest item that everybody else has to see who has the most money. But in general, you're just wasting your money like that. Not to mention, this book also talks about marketing skills, communication skills, and sales. Because in today's world, it's very important to have those kind of skills if you want to start a business, or if you want to make large sums of money. Not to mention, you should mind your own business. That means you should be able to make a business. Then when you leave, the business should still be able to pull in revenue without you. So that could be stocks, real estate, bonds, or even your own business, and etc. So this book is mainly for someone who likes accounting, economics, or just money in general. This will help open your mind in today's world of money. So if you like money, I would definitely recommend this book. It's easily one of my top favorite books of 2021. So yeah. So if you guys made it to the end of this video, I hope you guys liked it. I'm slowly trying to improve with this. It's my first time, so I'll be stuttering and stuff. And well, yeah. So if you liked it, I hope you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.